Hey, hey, here I am, looking for my glasses, and they're right where I left them on the sofa. Hello, hello, I think it's 11:05, I do apologise. Hey, here we are, how are you doing? Alright? I'll wait for a few moments because I am a little bit late, 11:05. Hey, let's see if I can get myself a bit more comfy. Sit. That's better. Methinks. Yes. Yeah, how are we? Hello, Lynn Faulkner. Sorry about that. 5 minutes late. Naughty I am. Naughty, looking for my glasses. And they were right where I left them, on the sofa, as I went up to sort myself out, make myself look presentable and all that jazz, like we do. All right. Oh, here's someone out there. Oh, my drawing. I tell you what, this is how brave I am with my drawing. Wait there. This is the first time. Wait there. Now, I'm no Picasso or even Van Gogh, but I copied, when he was showing us what to do, Lynn, I copied what he was doing. So I can't claim to fame with it, but my other attempts have been pretty abysmal, really, going off and doing my own thing. So it's like vision on, isn't it? It is. Blue Peter. Here's one I made earlier. I don't think it'll get in any gallery anytime soon, but and there's certainly room for improvement, but it's not bad. I'm quite pleased with that. I even allowed her to take a photograph of it. I don't know what, why and wherefore, but and of course you'll never recognise who it is. It's from an 007 poster. It's supposed to be Daniel Craig. I'm coughing because I'm laughing. Anyway, I'm not in it for prizes. I'm just in it to give myself some time and some space to think about something else. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. I think that's not half bad. And, of course, there's always room for improvement, isn't there, to be better than we were yesterday. So, vision on, indeed. Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier. And it's definitely a work in progress. Oh, yeah, I can see what you're saying. I mean, yesterday, it was really quite hard till I got round to that, because it was all about perspective and putting things in the right context. So I can see it's still not in perspective, but it's a damn sight better than I've done previously. So, and I felt quite good about that. So obviously, we go on, and I'm painting next week. So we've done 3 weeks of drawing, and I think we do 3 weeks of acrylics, and then 3 weeks of pastels, and then a couple of weeks of something else, because it's 14 weeks, of course. So yeah, so I might need anyway. We'll cross each bridge as we come to it. And she wanted to take a photograph of the other thing that I did, which was like so I get it. I get that you draw in a circle, you draw squares. I get all that, and even doing a figure is square, because we did a line across and a line down. And like I say, I just copied what he did. But yeah, it's good. And I'm not out for gallery work. I'm just out for a bit of a bit of relaxation, really. Not being able to walk very much with the dog, and the cat has to get in on the picture, of course. The minute I sit in this seat, right, you will see she will come to join us. She will. So here we are. I think there's 4 of us at the moment, so that's okay. When 2 or 3 or even 4 are gathered, is right there. in the midst of us. So thank you to all those who turned up for Josie Williams' funeral. What a beautiful time that was that we had. Really lovely. And Lynn's amazing playing as well. And it was really super. And everyone was really pleased with the way it went. So we can't do no more than that, can we? We can't say no more than that. All we can do is the best that we can do. And that's absolutely fine and dandy. We do, as long as we're doing the best. And that. So we've got Bernard Bruton on Monday as well, and Barbara Marshall. So Bernard Bruton is in the morning at 10:15, and then Barbara Marshall is at 1:30 the same day on the 24th. So those of you who knew Barbara Marshall, who is of course Vera Lowton's sister, do come along and say your final earthly goodbye to her. That would be lovely. Good morning, St Paul's, Carlton. That's very formal, isn't it? Is that you, Pat? I wonder. Anyway, good morning, everyone, and welcome to St Paul's Facebook page. It's me, of course. It's Wendy Murphy, full-time vicar of St Paul's. I thought it was you, our Claire. Good morning, darling. I'm in conversation with your mum, and I shall be picking up the conversation later on today. I'm here for now, and yeah, lovely. I'm here for now, and then I've got the Deaf Club straight afterwards, and so I shall pick up with her after around tea time, I think. Good morning, Barbara Gordon. Good to see you as well. It is on here, so that's all good. So full-time vicar I am of St Paul's, loving it most of the time. It's 11 o'clock. And here we are chatting together, talking about drawings, talking about anything really that crops up. As we hurtle, I think that's the only word for January, isn't it? As we hurtle through the first month of the year, my word, doesn't Christmas and New Year seem a lifetime away now? We're on to the next thing. And of course, if you, like me, were looking at the shelves on the 28th of December, you would have seen Cadbury's Cream Eggs and the like of. So that's why we hurtle through life, isn't it? Because we don't get a chance to draw breath, do we? We have to think about the next thing and the next thing, because that's what the telly and the papers and anywhere else we look seems to tell us, you know, what you're doing then and what you're doing then. Instead of us being able to relax and enjoy the moment, everything seems, even if we've had a couple of days rest, it just seems to fly out the window, doesn't it, as we get back on the treadmill and hurtle along. So I just want to remind you about the food bank, because it's becoming increasingly more important, the food bank. Not in its right that it is important, but for people. And I just really want to say on here, you know, if you or you know someone who is in need of food bank, then it's Tuesdays and Fridays at the Methodist Church at Cromwell Street, just over from us there. And then, of course, Wednesdays, 1:30 till 3 at the URC Church on Forrester Street, I believe that is. Just straight down. I'll be corrected by our lovely organist if it's road but you'll know where that is, I'm sure, in Netherfield. So do go along. Do see the lovely Avril and whoever's helping her on that day. She'll be delighted to see you. Good morning, Marion. Can we ask how Robert is, please? Because you're on my mind and you are in my prayers and you are on my list. Forrester Street. Thank you very much, Lynn. So just going back to the food bank, I can give vouchers here. Oh, Judith, it's you. I can give vouchers out. So if you or you know anyone that is in desperate need of a voucher, I can sign them. And then you take them across to the food bank on Tuesdays, Fridays or Wednesdays, and you'll have no problem getting some food for a few days. So, and if you need to come back, come and see me, and we'll sort that out for you. I just want to mention as well, because Judith will be delighted that I'm mentioning the co-op on Gedling Road, who is really coming up trumps with their basket of food every week now. There's loads of stuff in, and we mustn't forget to mention Tesco's, because we've been in a partnership with them with their box as well, their donation box, right from the very beginning. So thank you to Tesco's, thank you to the co-op. And if you're putting things in either of those boxes at any one time, please put bags of sugar in. Now, there's conflicting reports about bags of sugar and jars of jam. So what do you think? Some people are of a mind that we shouldn't at the food bank be giving out bags of sugar and jars of jam. Personally, I don't think it's our place to be judge and jury, do you? You may have a different thought, and I'd like to hear it. I mean, surely you've got to, if you're giving out a box of cornflakes, then you've got to have some sugar on it, haven't you? On a bowl of cornflakes. Surely children want sugar on a bowl of cornflakes, and I know we eat far too much sugar. Personally, I wouldn't thank you for sugar. I eat far too much salt. I don't even taste food. It's just automatic. I just put salt on. So, you know, my children tell me all the time, but I still put salt on. So anyway, for me, I'd like you to put sugar in the boxes, because we only have to go out and buy it anyway, because we're still going to put sugar in, you know, people who like sugar in their teas and coffees. What's the point in giving tea bags and coffee out if you're not going to give milk and sugar as well? Anyway, rant over. Thank you to all those who give, because we are whether you do that in food terms or monetary terms. I know there are lots of you that do, so thank you and bless you. Worth reminding you also that we are back in the church building. Some people still mindful about how they're going to do that, but I want to assure you that we are wearing masks all the time. Still, we did go through a little moment where we didn't, and we were able to sing without them. Of course, if you are medically exempt, then that's another thing. But if you can, please do wear a mask. Please, as far as you are able, sit socially distanced. And when we have tea now, we have decided we're going to have tea at the back of church, because we've got all that beautiful space. So we're not all in a holy huddle in the social area. So do come to church. We are as safe as we possibly can be. I would hazard a guess you're as safe at St. Paul's in the building as you are going to Tesco's, standing behind people in the queue or on the bus, you know. So please do come along and see that. Yeah. So next week, you see, where do you stop, Judith? This is what I say. If we're not going to give out sugar and jam, why should we be giving out advent calendars? And we give those at the drop of a hat. We've got chocolate bars. It's wonderful. Because if you haven't got much money, you're not going to be spending money on chocolate for your children, are you? You know, you're just not. And it's the same with ladies' personal items. Is it a toss-up between beans on toast and a personal item for a lady? Or some body deodorant for a man? Well, surely the beans on toast are going to win every time. I know in those, not that I've been, you know, but we have been in a place where, you know, there's far too much month left at the end of the money. Years ago, when we were young and foolish and couldn't handle our money properly, and people would say, I still can't do that now. But that's okay, he's entitled to his opinion. But clearly, you know, we are accepting everything, and quite rightly so. And if people take the advent calendars and the sugar and the jam and they don't use it, or they say, no, I don't take sugar, then that's fair enough. But they might take sugar because actually they might have a mate who they're making a cup of coffee for who takes sugar. Why would we do that to people? sometimes it just beggars belief, doesn't it? What people do with their time. So here we are. We're 19th of January and we're back to the grindstone in all its glory, aren't we? We can feel it, can't we? Or at least I can. I can feel it. You know, it's all coming back and I'm like, oh, here we are on the treadmill of life. I feel like, and I'm sure you have too, where we're like those little hamsters that go round and round on the wheel. We were in Pets at Home with Elias on Friday. We went and just had a wander around at the retail park and we were at Pets at Home. And I remember the girls having hamsters and we didn't know what to do with them at the night time because obviously they're asleep all day and awake all night. Interestingly, these hamsters were awake and they were on a bit of a funny shaped wheel. It was open and they were going round and round like that, a bit like the park one, you know, where you sit flat, and they were going round and round on that and it was totally quiet. I was pretty impressed by that. Not impressed enough to buy a hamster on a quiet wheel, but yeah, I mean, but that's what it can feel like, can't it, life? It can feel like you're a little hamster going round on the wheel. I mean, that's the other thing I've done the Tuesday thing with the painting and the drawing and stuff, because I want to not think about, I want to have something else to think about, because it's not healthy. It's not healthy, just going from one thing to another. And you just don't get the best of me. You get the dregs of me, which is what I talked about on Sunday. But we're not going to go there because we did that on Sunday. So you might feel like you're going round on a wheel 24/7. I know I do. And it happens often. And it's up to us, isn't it? It's up to us to make the decision to get off the wheel, to stop. And as a dear friend would say, smell the roses. Take in. As I was doing my hair by the window in the bedroom yesterday, do you know, I saw a blackbird and a finch. And I was like, well, I haven't seen none of them this year. Because I'm going from here to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. And you think Christmas was busy. And you think there'll be a bit of let up. But there's not. Because then we've got different things to think about. We have different things to think about. So, it's up to us to get off that wheel, isn't it? That wheel, that 24/7 wheel. And so you'll know, those of you that know that I go to the painting and drawing and thing, and she's great as Di. Yeah, just does it, you know, as you can imagine. She just does it and it's all brilliant. And we were talking on Tuesday, and even in pandemic times, we can find ourselves running that wheel, can't we? And as we both agreed on Tuesday, it's only us that can stop it. And if we stop it, we'll be able, when we've had that moment and that thought process, we'll be able to do things better, won't we? We can be the best of what we can be the best. And so we have to make the most of every day. And surely every day isn't running around on a wheel faster than the speed of light. Stop touching your hair, Wendy, she says. You know, so the last few days have been beautiful, and you may have seen a blackbird and a finch. We were up at the cemetery, Mark Ridout and I, on Monday, and he happened to see a green woodpecker. I'm sure he said it was a green woodpecker. And like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen one of them. How fabulous. I've seen a kingfisher before, but I haven't seen one of them. Because we've got to stop. And we've got to enjoy. You know, it might be, because the last few days have been beautiful, that you wrap up warm and take a walk round the block. Good for you. It might be that you can't do that. Maybe you could sit in the garden while wrapped up with a blanket. Just for 15 minutes or so. Or you could just open your window, couldn't you, and do a bit of breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in that lovely crisp air and breathe out all that anxiety, all that stress. So you're breathing out all the rubbish, and then you're emptying yourself of all that, and you're breathing in the beautiful crisp air. I mean, even when it's raining, we can maybe sit by the window, breathing in the beauty of God's creation, breathing out all the stuff that we have done that we're not particularly pleased or proud of. So we have to try in whatever way is right for you to replenish our battered souls. Breathing in all that's good, breathing out all that's challenging. So breathe in the blessing, breathe out the challenge. So that as you've done that, you can actually, have a different outlook. Because it's not easy, is it? Those of us that do life in the fast lane, 8 miles an hour, it's not easy to slow ourselves down. Personally, I find it incredibly difficult, which is why I like to walk. But I'm not doing very much of that at the moment. You can probably see by the shape of me. I'm not, though, because the dog doesn't do that walk like we used to, because she's little old lady, she's 15, so she don't want to do that. So we need to find ways that replenish us and restore us and renew us, don't we? And so that made me think, I've already mentioned eggs, haven't I? That made me think about, there was an advert years ago about Cadbury's cream eggs, and it was all a bit manic in the advert, and then different people ate their Cadbury's cream eggs different ways. So some would nibble it all the way around, some would take out the middle, the yolk, others would eat all around, some would eat it with a spoon, and then some would just get the whole egg and plop it in. And I think that's what's up with us sometimes. We just want to grab it all, don't we? We want to push it all in. And it's not good for us because we can't breathe properly. How do you eat yours? So it's made me think about this morning. How am I? How are you? How are we going to slow ourselves down? That got me to thinking, well, what scripture would I read? What parts of the Bible? Because I did a visit yesterday, and the lady said to me, I want to find some comfort, and I don't know where to look in the Bible. When people say these things to me, I always point them to the Psalms. Always. Because there is every emotion in all of those Psalms. There is every emotion that we can think of. Yeah? Every emotion. So if you look at the Psalms, any of the Psalms, you will see that, and you will read that they're there for when you're mad, when you're feeling like you want to be bad, when you're feeling mad, and of course, when you're feeling glad. It's all there in the Psalms, and it made me think particularly about Psalm 121. We said a few verses of it at Josie's funeral on Monday to open up our celebration of life service for Josie Williams. And I think that Psalm 121 reminds us of the journey we are on, that we're all pilgrims. We are pilgrims on a journey Da, 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 da. And we're all pilgrims on the journey. We're all in it together. And sometimes it can be hard for us to grasp that we're all in it together. And when one feels like they need to get off the wheel for a bit, then the others step up and support, don't they? And that's what happens at St. Paul's. That's what happens if we've got a good family network. Just taking a breather. I'm just going off. I'm just going to do something that will restore and renew and replenish me. That's it, isn't it? So Psalm 121 used to be said over pilgrims. And I know, Barbara, I've shared that with you when you were going off to Australia on a Wednesday morning. I've shared that when Wednesday morning communion. And it's the pilgrim, the words were said, weren't they, over the pilgrims as they journeyed up and through the mountain. And the opening 2 verses, the psalmist asks the question, where does his help come from? And his help comes from the Lord. See, Psalm 121, I lift up mine eyes to the hills, from whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. And I think we sometimes forget that, don't we? Because we've become so self-sufficient. So we know that our help comes from the Lord. And we have this, in the psalm, we have this wonderful image of God watching over us at all times. And he doesn't sleep. He shields us at all times. So Psalm 121 speaks of the Lord being our keeper, the one who watches over us. And as we go about our busy lives each day, with its highs and lows for each one of us, including me, how good is it for us to know that we are never alone, that the Lord is watching over us at all times. And as we are moving into another season, aren't we? We're looking forward to new, lighter days, brighter days, although you hard push to find a brighter day than today, really, even with its bit of spots of rain. So at least I think that's what I saw on the windows. So we're reminded, aren't we, in Psalm 121, how God's continued presence is with us. That's got to comfort us, hasn't it? And bring us joy. And we acknowledge God's loving presence in our lives by the way we respond, don't we? So we just need to pace ourselves. We need to get off that little hammy wheel. And we need to do what is right for us. And when people say to us, right, when people say to us, I'm sorry, I can't do that, we don't need to get all in a kerfuffle, do we? We just need to say that's absolutely fine. That's okay that you can't do that. But thank you for thinking about it. And we need to gently let people off the hook, don't we? And not think that they should be doing this, that, or the other. I'm eternally grateful for all that goes on, both up front and behind the scenes. I know that there is an awful lot of people at St. Paul's who would never stand at the front, but do an incredible job behind the scenes. So it's not all about being up front, is it? But we can still, all of us, be on that wheel, that hamster wheel. So I want to encourage you this morning that as we go from day to day, we do get time to smell the roses. We do get time to reflect on what we've done and where we're going and how we should be going about it. And we need to give ourselves permission for it to give ourselves enough time to think about that, don't we? I think that's a great idea. So that's the thought I'm going to leave you with, really. How do you do yours? And I'm not talking about Cadbury's cream eggs. I'm talking about how do you step off the wheel? And are you stepping off the wheel enough times? That will help to replenish and renew and restore who you are. Not just who you are, but who you are in Jesus. Still a good idea, isn't it? We're still not really sure about what's going on, are we? In any respect with Boris Johnson. Apparently, I keep seeing on my little news feed that there might be an announcement sometime soon. But I think they've been saying that forever, haven't they? So, with those thoughts in mind, you say, stay safe. Stay well. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you and all those that you love and care for. And may the Lord bring you his peace as you step off that wheel. And we ask for this blessing in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Amen. Oh, bless you, darling. Well, the thing is, Barbara, you know, if it's static, what are you doing? Well, it's static. I hope you're replenishing and renewing and restoring who you are. We love you and we miss you. You take good care. See you Sunday at 12. I'm off to be on Sunday afternoon. I'm going to Minster for Evensong at 3:30 because I'm going to be sworn in again, not sworn out, sworn in again to be chaplain of Mothers Union for another 3 years. It's all about trying to fit everything in, honouring God and honouring each other. So do take care, everyone, and God bless. Glad you're doing your best, Barbara. Take good care. God bless.